Hello guys, I hope you all are doing well today. Welcome to my channel once again. In this video, I'll bring you the match preview between Atalanta versus Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League match round 6. But before we dive into the preview, in my last video I talked about the Mo Salah issue with the club manager talking about analyses, and it has been confirmed that Mo Salah has been left out of the club. If you didn't watch that video, please check my previous video. Do well to watch. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. So Mo Salah has been left out of the Liverpool squad that will travel to Italy to face Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League. But one thing is not clear about that information, whether Mo Salah will be left out of the squad indefinitely or it is just the game against Inter Milan. But then the situation with Mo Salah in Liverpool has not been one that can easily go down with ease. So we'll wait to see how that will play out in the near future, but it just looks like the likely option left for Mo Salah is to leave Anfield. Okay, so Chelsea will take a trip to Bagano in Italy to face Atalanta in the UEFA Champions League. Chelsea will be looking to bounce back to winning ways, having not got a win in their last 3 games. Chelsea currently have played in the last 3 games, have actually pulled 2 draws and a loss. So going into this particular encounter, it's a crucial game. No doubt that coming into the game against Bournemouth, Enzo Maresca actually did what he expected to do in terms of the selection, which personally I saw. But then Chelsea lacked the cutting edge in order to actually create chances in that particular encounter to score. And that was how Chelsea ended that game in a goalless draw against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. So traveling to Atlanta, I think is a very crucial game. Atlanta, on the other hand, I don't know much. I can't say what I don't do. I don't watch much of Serie A. But I know for sure that Atlanta, when it comes to Europe, they have not been doing bad. Of late, they have been very good when it comes to their form in European football. But in the Serie A, Atlanta have been in a deep shit. Currently, Atlanta is 12th in the Serie A table, having played 14 games. They've won just 3, drew 7, and a couple of losses. So in the Italian Serie A, Atlanta have not been doing so very well. And that actually led to the sacking of the previous manager, which they had. And new manager was appointed for Atlanta last month, November, and they actually brought in Rafael Palahino. So Atlanta are also coming into this game with a new manager and with a different philosophy entirely from what the previous manager have actually been handling them on. So looking at this particular game, how does Chelsea need to approach this game? I don't think it's a kind of game that Chelsea will have much of that stress or headache when it comes to defensive mindedness, the way we actually approach game against the big teams, talking about Arsenal and Barcelona. You know, when we approach such game, Chelsea go with that extra defensive player in the midfield, talking about Rhys James or Malo Gusto as the case may be. But this is a game that Chelsea actually need to pick a win, because so far this season in the UEFA Champions League, Chelsea are yet to pick a win away from home. Chelsea have played 5 games in the UEFA Champions League so far. We've won 3. And we've won 3, drew 1, and lost 1. We lost to Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena and also played 2-2 draw against Karabakh away from home. The 3 wins Chelsea have had have actually come in the Stamford Bridge, where we defeated Benfica by 1-0, defeated Ajax by 5-1, and also defeated FC Barcelona by 3-0. So Chelsea are yet to pick an away win in the UEFA Champions League this season. And as such, I think this is a very crucial game, because if you take a look at the standing, the UEFA Champions League standing so far, Chelsea currently are 7th in the log standing, while Atalanta are 10th in the UEFA Champions League standing. Only goal difference separates Chelsea and Atalanta, as both teams are currently on 10 points. So Chelsea needs to go into this game with an attacking mindedness in order to see how they can secure all 3 points. A loss to Chelsea will see Atalanta overtake Chelsea on the Champions League standing. So Chelsea need to go all out in an attacking minded way in order to see how to secure all 3 points. There's no doubt one player we must talk about when it comes to the Atlanta squad is the Nigerian superstar, talking about Ademola Lookman, the former African Player of the Year, has been in a very good form for Atlanta, and ever since the takeover of the new manager, Ademola Lookman is beginning to look like his old self. But I'm pretty sure that we have a player in that right back position that can easily handle Ademola Lookman. So I haven't said much. Enzo Maresca had his press conference prior to this particular game yesterday, and in that particular press conference, Enzo Maresca said Parma will not be among the traveling squad to Italy, as Parma is not yet ready to play 2 games in a week. And I quite agree with the manager. We actually saw Parma in the game against Bournemouth. No doubt. Let's just say it the way it is. Parma was absolutely poor in that particular game, so he's still looking for fitness. But I believe that Enzo Maresca is actually keeping Parma to actually regain that fitness before the game against Everton in the weekend. And I think the game against Everton in the weekend in the Premier League is a very crucial game to me compared to this UEFA Champions League. There's no doubt that the UEFA Champions League game is a huge clash, but the Premier League clash against Everton will be more tougher than the Atalanta game that we will be facing tonight. So, having said that, Enzo Maresca also said is going to try and set up the team in such a way that we are going to score goals. We actually understand where this is coming from. We failed to score in the game against Bournemouth, and in my opinion, like I said in my match preview, I don't think the blame should go to Enzo Maresca when it comes to this. He did everything he needed to do, but Chelsea actually lacked the cutting edge. The creativity was not there. We actually saw that the passes were not connecting in that particular encounter. The passes were not connecting in that particular game. And in the first half of that particular game against Bournemouth, all through 45 minutes, Chelsea had no shot on target. And that goes to tell you how the match actually went. As Robert Sanchez, that pulled 5 saves in that particular game, was the man of the match of the day. So, going into this game against Atalanta, like Enzo Maresca said, the notable players that are absent, Liam Delap that actually sustained a shoulder injury. Enzo Maresca actually said Liam Delap did not sustain any fracture, but the time for Liam Delap to return back is not yet certain. And also, Romeo Lavia has actually resumed training, but I don't think, but is not among the traveling squad for the Atalanta game. And also, out for this particular game is Dario Sugo, not yet returned, and also Levi Cowell, who has been out with ACL from the beginning of the season. So every other player going into this particular encounter is available for selection. And Moses Caicedo, who has missed Chelsea's last 2 games in the Premier League, returned to the UEFA Champions League as his match ban is not being affected in the UEFA Champions League. So having said that, going into this particular game, this will be my selected or this will be my predicted 11 going into this particular encounter. In goal, I'll still go with Robert Sanchez. The full back, talking about the right back, I'll go with Rhys James as in his preferred position. The left back will be Marc Cucurella. The centre back pairing will be Trevor Chalobah and Wesley Fofana. The midfield pivots, I'll go with Moses Caicedo and Andre Santos. Andre Santos will play the position of Enzo Fernandez, while Enzo Fernandez will push further a little. And the 3 attacking midfield throw, the left wing, I'll go with Alejandro Garnacho. The number 10 role, I'll go with Enzo Fernandez. And the right wing, I'll go with Gustavo William. Up front, I'll go with Joao Pedro. So this will be my predicted 11 going into this particular encounter. We don't need to actually introduce an additional defensive player in the midfield in order to sit back and be more defense-minded, playing in block. No. This is Atalanta we are talking about. They have not been in a good form. There's no doubt that in Europe, so far, they have been good. Currently, like I said, they sit 10th in the UEFA Champions League, while Chelsea are 7th. The same point with Chelsea. Chelsea are only ahead of Atalanta on goal difference. So Chelsea need to go all out in this particular encounter to attack Atalanta in order to get that desired goal. The only player I think I'm scared of, probably because I don't watch the Atalanta team that much in the Serie A, is Ademola Lookman, because I watch him frequently. I actually know how he plays. And I believe playing from that left flank, Rhys James has what it takes to lock up Ademola Lookman going into this particular encounter. The midfield pairing, that is the midfield pivot of Moses Caicedo and Andre Santos, is over capable to run through the midfield of Atalanta. And looking at the Premier League side, I think we have that edge over the Italian Serie A side, Atalanta. So I see Chelsea having the edge over Atalanta in this particular game. Prediction. Chelsea will be looking to bounce back to winning ways. Having got 3 straight games without a win, a 1-1 draw against Arsenal, a 3-1 defeat to Leeds United, and a goalless draw against Bournemouth is not the kind of result that Chelsea have actually been desiring so far. But it actually shows the inconsistencies that we have been facing. And now is a time to actually get back to winning ways against Atalanta. And going into this particular game, with these particular players I've actually set up, I think there's every ingredient in this team that Chelsea need to actually defeat Atalanta. So I see a 3-1 win for Chelsea in this particular encounter. So who will be in your predicted 11 and what will be your score prediction going into this particular game in the UEFA Champions League against Atalanta? Drop your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching and catch you in the next video.